You're such an asshole.
Hey everybody, assholeconsulting.com. Last video of the day. And if you have a question and money and you need my advice, why should I hire you? Who the fuck are you? I'm the world's only professional asshole, which you can find at assholeconsulting.com. And I'll give you the advice that no one has the spine to give you. Hi, Captain. I've been a long-time reader and fan. I've gotten a ton of value from your books, and especially like Bachelor Pad Economics and Curse of the High IQ. The podcast is also good for a laugh and food for thought. It definitely makes long drives go more quickly. You are a very intelligent man, and you have great taste in multimedia. Anyway, what I would like is your analysis on the future of the insurance industry, in particular the impact that self-driving cars and general automation will have on its business outlook and the number of people it will employ. I'm currently working for a multinational insurance corporation, and I'm fortunate enough to have a job I don't hate that pays well, gives me a home office and a car. Outstanding. Given I am in a particular department, I don't think that my job is at risk to the machines anytime in the near future. However, I get the palpable sense that incoming self-driving car technologies are an elephant in the room. I've tried bringing it up to some people at the company, and shockingly, they either don't want to talk about it or think it won't be a huge deal. Right. The thing is that at the present time, the industry is somewhat unique in the sense that it requires a huge amount of employees to adjust auto claims, deal with personal injury, casualty, etc. Once these new self-driving cars come in, these people will be redundant. I've tried to research this myself, and I've only found the typical useless Bloomberg or Economist articles, which are about as useful as a snowplow in the Sahara. I did find one study that estimated insurance companies would lose 20% of their business from personal lines, auto policies, in the next 3 decades, but still I'm not terribly useful. Simply put, it seems to me there's almost a gag order on any real discussion on what's going to happen because these companies know what's coming and want to conceal it as much as possible. I always laugh when I hear about these grand new strategies for automobile insurance policies, when in reality the whole section of the business will probably be totaled in 2 decades anyway. So what I would like is the captain's no-hold-bars assessment of the future of the industry, its employment outlook, and general thoughts, as I'm sure you have other followers who are just either working in or connected to insurance through business. A video response would be ideal. Just name your price and we'll go from there. Thanks, and keep up the good work. Well, thank you. Where do we go from here? All right, let's talk about what we can and cannot do. I am the world's greatest economist, and the reason I am the world's greatest economist is because I admit one thing and one thing only. I don't know. It is impossible to tell when or where or how much automated self-driving cars is going to have an effect on the auto insurance component of the insurance industry. It's certainly going to have a negative effect, and I'm sure, I mean, if you're looking for a number, I can't give it to you, but like this 20%, they could lose 20%. His or her methodology, whoever came up with that, I'm sure their methodology was fine, but heck, even you actuaries couldn't do. You did a lame-ass job when they were putting together the pension calculations for the old companies back in the 50s and 60s, because they forgot to expect increased life expectancy. So, you know, right there, and now look, everyone's trying to scramble out of defined benefit pensions and get to defined contributions. So I don't have a lot of faith in anybody's, let alone myself, ability to start putting numbers and predict the future. I will agree with you that yes, self-driving cars would, at minimum, decimate the auto insurance industry, but the future is quite impossible to tell. Now, perfect example. What I do think is going to have an effect more directly on the auto insurance component of the insurance industry is not going to be so much self-driving cars, although that will come in due time. I think what it's going to be is what you're doing right now, working from home. This shit right here. My insurance, auto insurance, is just tanked. It's just gone down because I don't drive. I mean, I have crappy cars. That's another thing. I don't drive that way. But yeah, I just don't drive. I work from home. And I think telecommuting, the technology of which has existed for 10 years, is just basically we got to wait for enough baby boomer closed-minded fucks to die off, and then Gen X comes on board and says, yeah, why the fuck do we have this big expensive building? Why are we risking the lives of our employees to come here every day, not to mention risking their familial health and increasing their chance of divorce? Fuck it, stay at home. Here's the VPN login information. Come on in anytime you want. I think that is going to provide more of a direct threat to the auto insurance line in the insurance company business, because it's more present. It's the technology already exists. We don't have to test it. It's not Tesla's break beforehand kind of technology. It exists and it's in the here and now. It's merely for society to get on board. The automobile, self-driving car, that will certainly also not, I wouldn't say put a kibosh, because you're going to need to drive anyway. It's not going to end at all, but yeah, it'll definitely wipe it out. I'd say, based on miles driven, you look at where most of the miles are driven, it's commuting. And if we get rid of that, I'd say at least 50%. Now, why everyone is telling you to shush and poo-poo, you have basically one theory, but you didn't explicitly detail it, and that was they don't want their stock price to drop. They don't want it to be known to the financial markets that we're going to lose all of our auto industry a line of business, and that would disproportionately or negatively affect the stock price. But what my experience has told me when it comes to dealing with corporate America, it's that they're your typical Peter principled, closed-minded, MBA-laden fucks. All right, and especially no offense to actuary, you guys exactly aren't the greatest creators and innovators and people who might be able to predict the future. Not a lot of Steve Jobs there over in the U of Michigan actuarial department. They're very finite and structured in their thinking, very literal. That's good, that's great. You want a great actuary. But they are not forward thinkers. And I think what you're running into is not only your typical corporate culture of closed-mindedness, and if it's not the here and now, fuck it, I don't want to care. Plus, you're starting to think at executive level thinking, and they don't like it when you start thinking at executive level thinking, especially if you're just a regular plebe like the rest of us are. This is you trying to stop the Titanic from running into the iceberg. You know what you do? You charge. You charge for that shit. You don't even tell people. You tease them a little bit and say, like, yeah, I got an idea about the insurance industry. So what is it? I say, you know what? It's so good, I'm not going to tell anyone unless they pay me. And they're probably not going to pay you because they're too busy. Again, you're dealing with robots when you're in large multinational corporations. It's the only way they change is by going belly up or having such a huge lawsuit shoved up their ass that they get federal regulators in there. They change. It's not going to change. It's established culture. It's also the psychology of the actuarial mindset. It's not that they're trying to hide something. I would find a way to make money on it. How would you make money on that? Could you short? I guess you could short. So that's the problem. You don't know when the auto insurance are going to go away. I don't know. I would set up a little consulting company. This is a completely separate question, but don't bang your head against this anymore. It's not worth trying to sound told. It's not imminent. It's not imminent. It's not present. A lot of it is also going to depend on the track record of these vehicles. Like, they haven't even been rolled out yet, but a lot of that's going to be dependent upon its track record. If it also improves that self-driving cars are much safer than humans, then you should be the first to adapt and say, hey, do you have a self-driving car? Do you like self-drive? We're going to give you, so it's going to be first mover adapt. And by the time maybe you get promoted, maybe you would be an executive in the position of power to do something about it. But right now, you're in one of the most fuddy-duddy, stodgy, banks are almost as bad. No vision, no foresight, no clairvoyance, no corporate leadership type of industries. And you know what, don't bang your head against it. But yeah, you are right. It's impossible to put numbers. We're going to have to see field tests. We're going to have to see, reliably better driving from the self-driving cars before all of a sudden that starts taking effect and we start rolling out with it. But in the meantime, I'd be more worried about telecommuting. That is what I think is going to have a more immediate and much closer to today's world effect than it is waiting for the technology. Because that technology, I would say, people say I'm going to see it in my lifetime, and again, who knows? The popular mechanics people, well, today, it's going to happen today. It's like, yeah, I remember middle school, we were supposed to have jetpacks by 1989, and it didn't happen. Still not today. So I'd be a little worried about, any kind of prediction. But one prediction that's going to be more imminent is that telecommuting. Anyway, hope that helped out. Don't bang your head at work. Stop rocking the boat. They're going to get pissed off. They're going to fire you. Wait till you're a president of some big-time hoity-toity division, and then you can worry about phasing out auto insurance. Anyway, best of luck. Toodles.